A superhero's costume is a key component to their identity. Introduced in May of 1939 in Detective Comics 27, Batman was arguably the most visually striking character in the medium at the time. Created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, Bruce Wayne donned a giant black cape, gray spandex, and a cowl with two giant protruding ears. This was in contrast to the other major hero at the time, Superman, who sported red and blue spandex and didn't conceal his face with a mask. In 1943, Batman made his live-action debut in a 15-chapter serial played by actor Lewis Wilson. And while the costume looks fairly ridiculous by today's standards, the overall look is comic accurate. The same can be said for his next two live-action incarnations. Both Robert Lowry and Adam West resemble their comic book counterpart for the time period. Flash forward to 1989 when director Tim Burton revitalized the character for mainstream audiences. Burton conveyed to designer Bob Ringwood that he wanted an all-black costume. Ringwood redesigned the Dark Knight's look while maintaining the silhouette of Neil Adams' artwork. Vin Burnham then sculpted foam latex pieces that were placed over a neoprene bodysuit. And while it wasn't high on the mobility scale, this became the template for all subsequent Batman films. This raises an important question, though. How does Batman get into his costume? In the cinematic adventures of Superman and Spider-Man, the heroes merely keep their spandex costumes underneath their street clothes, allowing them to change into their alternate personas quickly. Batman, on the other hand, doesn't have the luxury of carrying a compact costume with him that he can change into easily. Even in the Iron Man movies, the filmmakers go to great lengths to show how Tony Stark gets into his armor, with each film showing him perfect new ways to become the Golden Avenger. But every Batman film since 1989 glosses over this detail. In Batman Returns, we see Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne walk into a closet filled with Batman suits, but then he just walks out fully dressed. How long did this take him to do? Sure, Joel Schumacher gives us a montage of Val Kilmer donning the suit at the start of Batman Forever, but at most, all we see is him buckling his belt. It's mainly footage of him grabbing his gadgets. In 2005, audiences were introduced to a much more realistic take on the world's greatest detective, with Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. Here the costume is a Nomex survival suit, provided by Wayne Enterprise employee Lucius Fox, from the Applied Sciences Division. This tactical take on Batman would carry over to the film's sequel, The Dark Knight, where Lucius would redesign the Batsuit to allow for more agility and speed, utilizing hardened Kevlar plates stretched over a bodysuit. And while the Nolan films continue the trend of not showing Bruce get into the suit, one can assume he gets help from Alfred. But there's one scene in The Dark Knight where this is actually problematic. When the Joker crashes a fundraiser for Harvey Dent, Bruce slips away to become Batman. From the time the door closes behind him, it takes 1 minute and 57 seconds for him to reappear as Batman. Now, is this enough time for Bruce to change out of his suit and into his costume? I thought I'd put this to the test. I own a Batsuit from UD Replicas, and I wanted to see how fast I could put it on. Starting out dressed in my finest attire, I would change into the Batsuit piece by piece. But there's one other element I've neglected to mention. Every actor to play Batman since 1989 wears eyeliner underneath the mask. Sure, it magically disappears once the actor removes the cowl, but that doesn't discount the fact that Bruce is clearly wearing eye makeup. Something that director Matt Reeves is acknowledging in his new film, The Batman. To fully transform into Batman, I'll have to apply the eyeliner. There are a few shortcuts I'm taking though. In rare behind-the-scenes photos of Christian Bale, he is wearing a black hood. This is so the polyurethane mask can slide over his head easily without tugging at his hair. I will also have a neoprene wetsuit with a hood underneath my clothes so that I can bypass a few steps. Did I mention that I've never put on the suit alone? Every time I've worn it, I've had an assistant to help with the belt and the cape. And not to mention the fact that this thing is really heavy. So, starting the timer, here we go.
And there you have it. It took me 9 minutes and 9 seconds to fully put on the costume.
If Bruce had taken this long at the fundraiser, there may have been a few more casualties. With the Batman opening this week, we'll soon see if Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson elaborate on how Bruce Wayne puts on the new Batsuit. If you'd like to see more videos like this, leave a comment down below. And for future videos, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.
Swear to me! Where's Falcone? Where's Rachel? Where's the trigger? I'm Batman.